Let's wrap up our discussion on size and units by checking out the options under More Size Options. Access the Size property and click More Size Options to expand. You'll find additional sizing properties that can be assigned to different elements on your site. It's important to point out that not all widgets will have all of these properties you see here. For example, we can assign both a minimum and maximum width, as well as a minimum and maximum height to our image widget. But if I were to select an inner column, we'd see that we only have the option to specify a minimum or maximum width. The options available to you will be dependent on the type of element you're working with. That is to say, container elements such as inner columns, advanced grids, and columns won't offer the option to set a minimum or maximum height. Other widgets, such as the image widget we'll be working with, provide you with a few more options to further customize their dimensions. So just to be certain we're aligned, properties you see under More Size Options will depend on the type of element you're working with. So, what do our minimum and maximum properties allow us to do? Min and max values allow us to set constraints on the size of elements, ensuring they don't shrink below or grow beyond specified limits. Now you might be wondering, when might I want to use them? Let's say you're working with a customer who doesn't have high-resolution images, but they need their images to respond to the resizing of a browser. In this case, using a maxed value would be beneficial, as this would prevent the image from stretching out too much and becoming pixelated. Let's look at the two images we have here of Jack and the Magic Beanstalk. This image here currently has a fixed width set to 168 pixels. I'll change this to percentage so that the beanstalk can scale accordingly to the resizing of our browser. Let's preview this now. When we change the size of the browser, the image responds accordingly. Suppose we want the beanstalk to always be a bit bigger than our Jack. In this case, we would want to assign a minimum value to the beanstalk. Let's set a minimum width value of 180 pixels. So no matter how small the screen becomes, the beanstalk will never be smaller than 180 pixels. If you're wondering why we changed the width and not the height, that's because our height has been set to auto. In other words, the image's height has been set to scale proportionally to its width. So specifying a min width value is sufficient. Likewise, we can set a max width value to ensure the image never exceeds a specified size. Currently, we're allowing the browser to make the image as big as it wants by keeping the max width value at 100%. But we can also set a limit here. Let's say we don't want the image to ever exceed 250 pixels. So, just as a reminder, if we decrease the size of the screen, the beanstalk has been instructed to never go below 180 pixels. Similarly, when we increase the size of the browser, notice it never exceeds 250 pixels.